and good evening, everyone. And thank you for joining us for tonight's webinar titled Smart Energy, Smarter Cities, the Digital Future for a Smarter, Greener World, hosted by the Tsinghua Southeast Asia Center. This webinar is part of a series of events related to our upcoming professional education program, Happy Digital X, that will be launching again this July. We have a great speaker this evening, Bapak William Sabandar, the COO of the Indonesian Business Council and the president of the Intelligent Transport Systems Indonesia. I am Michael Torrey, the academic director of Tsinghua Southeast Asia Center, and I will be your host for this evening. If we could please share the slides. Great. Next slide. We move to the next slide, please. Please be sure to follow our Instagram at Tsinghua_SEA to stay up to date on our latest programs and events. We have a lot of great and exciting events coming up, so please be sure to follow us on our social media. Great. To help us open tonight's event, I would like to invite Ms. Nimas Mega Purnamasari, the Executive Director of the Tsinghua Southeast Asia Center, to give her opening remarks. Mega, the time is yours.
Thank you, Mike. All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, and may peace be upon us. So on behalf of Tsinghua Southeast Asia, I'm delighted to welcome all of you to today's webinar, part of our Road to Happy Digital X program. And later we will find out what is Happy Digital X program that is going to run on 14th of July, and Mike will be delighted to share all about it. But anyway, we are honored to have you join us in this exciting journey of learning and collaboration. So for all of you that hasn't been really familiar with Tsinghua Southeast Asia, so we are the Center of Future Knowledge, and the founding members are obviously coming from Tsinghua University in Beijing and also United in Diversity Foundation. So at Tsinghua Southeast Asia, we envision ourselves as the Center of Future Knowledge, a hub where entrepreneurship and innovation, AI and data science and health converge to shape the future. Through impactful programs like this, we empower the next generation of thinkers, creators, and change makers throughout Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and beyond. So today's session explores the theme of smart energy and smart cities, a topic that is deeply relevant in our pursuit of a greener, more sustainable, and technologically empowered future. As we reimagine urban life, it's clear that the backbone of tomorrow's cities lies in intelligent systems powered by AI, data, and innovative thinking that is going to be covered today in this webinar and also in Happy Digital X program. So this webinar and also Happy Digital X is more than just about the cities and urban planning. It's a deep dive into how AI and digital technologies can be applied to a system, products, and services across every sectors, transforming how we live, work, and connect. We are deeply honored to welcome Bapak William Sabandar, a distinguished leader who currently serves as the COO of Indonesian Business Council and also the president of Intelligent Transport Systems Indonesia. With his vast experience in transportation infrastructure and smart mobility, I am confident that today's session will be filled with valuable insights and practical inspiration. That's it for today. So thank you once again for being here, and let's embrace this opportunity to learn, share, and co-create the smarter, greener future we all envision. Enjoy the session.
Great. Thank you very much, Mega, for your remarks. Give you a virtual round of applause. Now, before we begin with our main event, I would like to take a moment to introduce you to the Tsinghua Southeast Asia Center and our upcoming program, Happy Digital X. Great. So the Tsinghua Southeast Asia Center is one of 4 overseas centers of Tsinghua University. Tsinghua University is a 114-year-old university in Beijing. It's ranked #1 in China and #12 in the world, with excellence in engineering, AI, computer science, and many different fields. The Tsinghua Southeast Asia Center is, we're based in Bali, in Kura, Bali. We were founded in 2018 as a joint collaboration between Tsinghua University and United in Diversity Foundation. And our campus was inaugurated in November 2022 during the G20 summit in Bali. So here's a picture of our campus. It's a very sustainable, modern facility that has been nominated for many architectural awards, especially in higher education. Indonesia has a long and growing relationship with Tsinghua University. So we can see here President Prabowo with the chairman of Tsinghua University in Beijing, together with Professor Stella Christie, the Vice Minister of Higher Education, Science, and Technology, who is also a professor at Tsinghua University. When you think about what we do at Tsinghua Southeast Asia Center, or as we just call it for short, TSEA, you can always think about 3 things: sustainability, happiness, and innovation. So it doesn't matter what kind of events we're doing, we're always focused on these 3 things. And we look at things from a systems perspective, and we take a multidisciplinary, multi-sector approach, and we believe in technology as an enabler for change. So the interesting one out of these 3 things, sustainability, happiness, and innovation, for me was about happiness, because you don't hear a lot of universities talking about happiness. So the happiness actually comes from the Balinese philosophy of Trihita Karana. So we look at the SDGs through the perspective of the Trihita Karana, which says that there's 3 sources of happiness, which is harmony between people with other people, harmony between people with nature, and harmony between people and the spiritual side of life. So when we look at the SDGs through the perspective of the Trihita Karana, it becomes a pyramid. The first 10 goals are related to people. So 0 hunger, 0 poverty, quality education. They're all about people with people. The next 5 goals are all about people with nature. So climate action, life below water, sustainable cities. And the final 2 goals, peace and justice and partnership for the goals, we believe are the spiritual goals. So we believe that by pursuing the SDGs, not only will the world be healthier and more sustainable, but people can be happier as well. So we put a strong emphasis on happiness in our programs. So our upcoming program is Happy Digital X. We can call it HDX. It's a professional education program that's designed to train professionals on how digital transformation can address urban challenges to drive sustainability and happiness, and apply their learning to solve complex real-world problems through a hands-on challenge project. This is a 12-week professional program starting in July, on July 14th, 2025. It's in a hybrid format, so it's designed around a working professional's busy schedule. And all participants that conclude the program will be awarded with a certificate from Tsinghua University. So what is Happy Digital X? The X is like a variable. It stands for cities, systems, products, and services. So it's not your traditional urban planning program. It goes beyond that. It's about digital transformation, and it's about solving complex problems. And what's more complex than our cities? Our cities are where we live, where we work, where we enjoy ourselves. We're consumers, we're employees, we're residents. And so we have to think very holistically about the cities and the systems that support the cities, the products that are produced and consumed within the cities, and the services that support our cities. And all of these make up a very complex system with complex problems that we believe that digital transformation can help to solve. So if you can solve the problems facing our cities, you can solve problems, any problem facing your organization or your community. This will be our third cohort of Happy Digital X. So we've had it in 2021 and 2023. It's a very multi-sector program. So about 40% of our participants have come from government, and about 40% have come from industry, both private sector and state-owned enterprise. And then the remainder has come from academia and NGOs and civil society. Our instructors come from world-class organizations and institutions from around the world. We've had 29 instructors from 17 institutions in 6 different countries. We work, of course, closely with Tsinghua University, but also we have professors from MIT and practitioners, CEOs, and leaders from all around the world. So everything is arranged around the grand challenges that we're facing, which is climate change, food security, clean energy. These are big and daunting challenges that are hard for us to solve in 12 weeks. So what we do is we take a piece of these grand challenges and we create the challenge projects. And the challenge project is a real challenge project with a real stakeholder that our participants will work on to solve throughout the 12 weeks of the program. So during the course, we'll have modules and lectures on various different topics, from transformational and purposeful leadership to urban planning, to entrepreneurship and product development, to complex systems, AI and ICT, and also smart cities. And then while we're learning these skills, we're applying them to the challenge project work. And these are real problems that we have to solve. And at the end, we present to the stakeholders the solutions that we've come up with for these challenges. So what's new in HDX3 is a stronger focus on AI. So there's still the focus on digital transformation, but we believe that developing AI skills can help accelerate digital transformation. And so this is about applied AI, not developing any new AI, but being able to apply the AI that exists and prepare for the future of AI. So this is more about how to use AI for project management, understanding data security, ethics, and implementation, and preparing for the 5th industrial revolution that is coming, that we'll all rely on AI in the very near future. So the program is made up of 6 threads, and these are the professors that are leading the threads. We have Shobi Lawalata from UID, Chris Samuels from MIT, Mats Hansen from KTH in Sweden, Alessandro Golkar from Technical University of Munich, Pedro Faria is the CEO of Track on Performance, and Victor Chan is from Tsinghua SIGS, which is the Shenzhen International Graduate School. So these are all top-rank universities and also world-class practitioners that will be leading the program. So I want to take a minute to talk about the challenge project work, because that's what really makes HDX unique, is that we work on these challenge projects while we study. So these are about how do we apply what we're learning, how do we get hands-on learning, how do we really tackle a complex challenge in real time with real stakeholders. So in the past, we've worked with different stakeholders from the government sector, from private sector, a lot of different topics. I will highlight a few of them. So we worked with Sumedang on digital transformation. So Sumedang came to us in 2021 with the problem of stunting. Stunting is high in Indonesia, and it was even higher than average in Sumedang. And so what our participants were able to do was to create a predictive model to predict where the stunting was likely to occur, and so that the government could intervene before the child is born or maybe even before the mother is pregnant. And by implementing this system after HCX, Sumedang has been able to reduce poverty and stunting by 50% in just 1 year. And now this project has been piloted in over 50 Indonesian cities. We've had 3 challenge projects so far with Sumedang, so they're a great partner of ours. We've done projects in the private sector as well, so about waste management and circular economy in the automotive industry. We had a project on sustainable fashion, so about how can we take harmful fishing nets and waste, ocean waste, and weave it into very beautiful Indonesian textiles. We've had other e-government digital transformation platforms, such as with the government of Denpasar, Bali, and many other challenge projects. So this year, in 2025, we'll have all new challenge projects covering issues from waste management to mobility, transportation, smart cities, many different challenges to work on. Here's an outline of the program for HCX. So we start on-site or offline in Bali at UID Bali campus for 3 days, starting on the 14th of July through the 16th. And these are full days on-site with courses and with the professors and introducing to the challenge projects. And then there's a few weeks that we return home and we study online in the evenings while working. So 2 nights a week, there will be some lectures while working on the challenge project. And then in week 5, we come back offline to UID Bali campus for 3 days from the 11th through the 13th of August. And then we go back online, take classes in the evening, and work on the challenge project, and then come back to Bali for the graduation on the 4th of October. So all in all, it's a 12-week program. So who do we want to join HCX? It's very broad. We believe that the city itself is an example or a case study that we can use, that if you can solve a complex problem in a city, then you can solve a complex problem in your organization or in your company. So we're looking for business leaders and ICT experts that want to do digital transformation within their organization or within society, urban planners and social change makers, government decision makers that can lead change and improve society through central and regional governments, and also university academics as well. Here are some of the notable fellows that we've had from previous HCX cohorts. So there's some very well-known and influential people who have joined the HCX program, like Pandu Sharir, the Chief Investment Officer of Nantara. We've had other people join HCX and really accelerate in their career after joining, like Muhammad Firman Hidayat. He was with Marvis, and now he's the Executive Director of the National Economic Council for the Republic of Indonesia under Pak Luhut. And also Dr. Arnaldo Sinaga was a lecturer at Dell Institute of Technology, and today he's director of the university. So we've had very notable and influential alumni. And I think part of this is that working through HCX, you learn from world-class professors, but you learn from each other as well by having diverse backgrounds and very impressive participants in the program. Here's the timeline. So the application is already open now, and the early bird tuition will be until June 14th. We also offer group discounts for 3 or more individuals from the same organization. And the application will close on July 1st, and the program will start on July 14th. Here are the participating organizations. So it's Tsinghua Southeast Asia Center together with Tsinghua Shenzhen International Graduate School, and the certificate is awarded by Tsinghua University. So please, if you have any questions, you can visit our website, hdx.tc.asia, or contact us by email or WhatsApp or on Instagram. So that's just very brief. Happy to answer any of your questions later on about HDX. And thank you. So now, going back to our session, it is with great pleasure that I introduce Papa William Sabandar to speak on smart energy, smarter cities, the digital future for a smarter, greener world. As a gentle reminder, please keep your microphones muted throughout the session. You're welcome to ask questions at any time during the presentation via the chat box, and we will try and answer them all after the presentation concludes. So now please allow me to briefly introduce tonight's speaker, William P. Sabandar, MNSC, PhD, is a passionate professional in corporate and public sector management with expertise in transportation and sustainable development. He has held prominent positions in disaster recovery and the government. He currently serves as the president of Intelligent Transport Systems Indonesia, CEO of the Indonesian Business Council, and chairman of 5P Global Movement. Pa William, without further ado, the time is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Good evening, everybody. I also learned about Tsinghua, Southeast Asia from your presentations this evening, which is very encouraging. And I've been honored to share some of experience which related to urban. And as explained before, that my expertise is very much on the mobility and urban issue, which is, I think, relevant with the topics that's been briefed by Mike just a few minutes ago. So let me start with, as being introduced, I'm currently hold a position as the CEO of Indonesian Business Council. This is a new platform we just set 2 years ago as a policy research and advocacy center, which is actually connecting government and business sectors. Some of the names, prominent names that have been mentioned are actually before in the slide of Mike was actually the member of Indonesian Business Council. You have Pandu here, you have Arshad Rashid, you have Arif Rahmat mentioned this, who are actually prominent business persons who are actually now belongs to the Indonesian Business Councils. I also, in one of my chair, is actually leading the Intelligent Transport System Society, which is actually relevant with the mobility and the cities that I will discuss later. This is about digitalization and technology in urban mobility. So I will touch this in the presentation. But the story that I'm going to tell or share with you tonight is actually my experience for 6 years leading the constructions and operationalization of the first metro in Indonesia, which is MRT Jakarta. So I will discuss this about the MRT Jakarta in length and what lessons that we can actually learn from addressing the mobility issue of Jakarta. It's a very complex ecosystem. It's a city that is already broken since the very beginning because it's mismanaged in the planning process. And today, any institution that's involved in the development of Indonesia and Jakarta will need to fix it. And this is something that I will contribute in the discussions this afternoon. If somebody can help me with this, moving this. So I name it my presentations. Next slide, please. This is my presentation, the transforming business beyond normal. Yeah, why I call this, because it's Jakarta is a complex city, and it requires a breakthrough, or it requires a non business as usual approach to address the context or the situations or the problematic of Jakarta. Next slide. So I start with describing the problem of Jakarta. When I start this operation, this is talking about the stories about 2016, 2023. Yeah, when I start the process of building MRT in Jakarta, at that time, Jakarta was number 4th as the most congested cities in the world, based on the TomTom traffic index. Yeah, was even until today, this problem is still embedded in the context of Jakarta, but you have seen some progress since the construction and the operationalization of MRT Jakarta. We are now, Jakarta is currently ranking 30th. So it's moving out of the 10th big cities, the most congested cities, and it's better than 2016. But the journey is still far, or the challenge is still great, and it requires a lot of good programs to address this. The traffic congestions, yeah, this is a cost. The social and economic cost is actually about $6 billion US, or it translated into rupiah is about 100 trillion rupiah per year. So you can imagine building like 60 kilometer metro per year if you can address this cost, yeah, the loss and the social economic loss of the city every year due to the traffic congestion, that not to mention the pollution issue and everything. The 43 emissions are originating from the transport sectors, and people, if you are a lot of you, I think, living in Jakarta and greater Jakarta, spend approximately 4 hours a day commuting, going to the office and coming back home. This is something that actually making the people living around the city is very unproductive. Now, MRT is coming to the rise to the challenge. The company was actually under the management of the government of Jakarta. We have 3 mandates. The first mandate is actually the infrastructure development. The second mandate is actually, we have to build the infrastructures, building tunnel, building bridge. Yeah. The second one is to do the operation and maintenance. The third one is actually to do the business and the operationalization of the city around the stations. So with the vision is actually, one is increasing mobility, and for increasing mobility is actually improving the life quality of the people of Jakarta. So this is the MRT Jakarta network. What we built right now, if you see the blue, the blue line, yeah, this is from the south to the north, which is actually, this is the line that's being built at the moment. 16 kilometers of the line is actually the north-south line from Lebak Bulus to Kota. So at the moment, the operationalization is 16 kilometers from Lebak Bulus to central Jakarta, and it's the process of being built. If you are familiar with the city, it's being built from Bundaran HI to Kota, another 6 kilometers to the north, and another 6 kilometers to the next depot in Ancol Barat. Then the plan actually now moving to develop the east-west corridor. This is 87 kilometers from Jawa Barat to Banten. So this is how we change Jakarta by introducing the metro system, the modern transport system. When I start to get into the leadership of the MRT, I start to introduce core values. So at that time, the discussion with the governor, Ahok at that time, is actually, we are not just to build the infrastructure of Jakarta, but we try to bring value to the new value for mobility of Jakarta. So we introduced the tagline of Ubah Jakarta with the core values of ICANN. ICANN stand for integrity, customer focus, achievement orientation, and nurturing teamwork. So in the corporate system, it is very important to drive the organization based on this core value, and we put integrity as our first core value, because we really want to see how Indonesian, how the country can build a very good infrastructures with international credibility. So what happened within 5 years in the development, we can turn that dream, because this is a very long dream, 30 years in the making. It's just been started in 2012, but in 2019, then we can have our first metro operate in Jakarta. This is when you see the President Jokowi inaugurated or launched this MRT in March, arrival of MRT in March 2019. This is when the first times the country then had its first modern transport system. It's not easy to change the culture of the people transporting in Jakarta, and this is the most challenging job that I face as the leader of MRT Jakarta, because building construction is one, but making sure that the operationalization in the high quality standard with the high culture, it is actually more difficult. Making sure that people discipline, people maintain the cleanliness, the train is always on-time performance, and the respect cultures, the attentions to disability community it needs to be there. How people queue. This is actually the culture that we need to develop, which is not there before. If you see, before, the transport Jakarta was so bad, but with the coming of MRT Jakarta, a new culture that we introduced to the people in Jakarta, which is now you can see not just in MRT but also in LRT, in train systems, even in the bus system. You can see this new culture is actually can be seen. The MRT Jakarta becoming the model of the coming of the modern transport system with the new cultures of modernization, cover cleanliness, standing queue, and 100% of on-time performance. Also, it creates a new lifestyle. So you can see actually people biking, people walking. Even we developed the library in Jakarta. We manage the vicinity, which safe for kids go to school. And then the ambient that we create on for example, during the weekend, some of the transit-oriented development is being developed as the community event that making Jakarta is actually becoming a multicultural cities with so many attractions being built in the city. I call it a train for reconciliation, because this is actually the reconciliations of Pak Jokowi and Pak Prabowo when it is being finished. Then this now President Prabowo becoming the president. So it's a very good story. It's a very good narrative, which what I can learn from here is actually when you make a good infrastructure for the city, you don't need to develop the whole infrastructure of the city finished, but you can start with the first line, for example, the 16 kilometers, and you introduce the good value, good cultures, and then people can start to learn, and from then you can actually replicate this project to any other projects in the cities, in Jakarta itself, but also in other cities. Today, if you are familiar with Bali, I think we are trying to start also the process of development of LRT in Bali. We are trying to advocate some of other cities like Palembang, Bandung, Surabaya, and Makassar. And I hope this kind of modern transport system can also be the backbone of the changing of the city. So the next slide, I will talk about how we manage crisis and turning crisis into opportunity. A year after the operationalization, which is it was very good. We are moving from passengers of 45,000 passengers per day to 60,000, And then by the end of 2019, yeah, I think the passenger is going close to 100,000. We are projected at that time that the passenger is going to 130,000 to 200,000. But then in a sudden, COVID attacked us, yeah, and that changed the landscape of public transport. In a sudden, people cannot go out, so you see in the period of COVID, start in March. In a sudden, the number of passengers drop very significantly. Practically the operation is stopped, and then we are in crisis. The challenge at that time, as the CEO of MRT Jakarta, is how you survive, how you maintain, because this is you have to the cash needed, yeah, to operationalize. The revenue come from passengers for sure, but also we have to try to find alternative for financing the operationalization of the train for the MRT Jakarta. So we have to face the crisis, yeah. And sorry, anybody want to? So this is the three priorities addressing the crisis. Yeah, that's why I call it the transformations. When this happened, and this is actually the lesson that I want to share. Yeah, in managing the organizations, three things that we have to manage is actually number one. There's a priorities addressing the crisis, including when I face the MRT Jakarta. Number one is protecting employees. The second one is maintaining service excellence to customers. So making sure that the organization can continue, although in the crisis environment. So protecting my employees with the MRT is very important. The second one is continue to maintain the service excellence, because this is actually your key performance indicator. Number one is service excellence. But also at that time, you have to start to strategizing for business sustainability. After revive, after recovery, then you have to continue to develop your business and developing in a sustainable way. So this is the strategy that we develop. Let me address one by one very quickly on how I protecting the employees. Most importantly, you see the employees of MRT Jakarta is 90% is below 92% actually below 40 the age. So it's a lot of them are millennial, and you can see it was actually they are very eager to do some kind of so many innovation being made by a young generation. The first things that I did at that time is apply the policy of zero layoff. We promote continued coaching and training. We give the facility to protect our employees. The role of women in MRT Jakarta is very. We have two directors, women in MRT Jakarta, and a woman group, a woman participating not just at the for example at the driver level, yeah, but also at the management level. So this is how we manage the employee system in MRT Jakarta. The second aspect is actually service excellence. Very important is actually during the pandemic, building trust to the customers, to the people who continue to ride, because we cannot stop operate. We have to maintain the public service. So I introduced at that time is building trust during the pandemic through Bangkit, bersih, aman, nyaman, go green, kolaborasi, innovation, and using the good governance. And also we maintain service excellence, yeah, through any measures that ensure that we can manage continue to manage service excellently, although in the COVID situation. We cannot do this alone. We collaborate with our so many partners. We involve the civil society, corporates, governments, yeah, any startups. We involve other to do it together, yeah. And I think this is the lessons, yeah, I just learned from how, for example, Tsinghua University collaborate with United University, coordinate with the government of Bali. The pentahelix approach is very important in addressing the comprehensiveness of building a city. The third aspect that I want to develop here is actually for strategizing for sustainability. very important to talk about sustainability in this process. And this is the transformations that I introduced during the development, how the company turn from a construction company into the operation company and into service excellent company. And what I call it, it is not enough that MRT to be a good project-oriented company or a constructions company, but it needs to be a source of change. It needs to be an agent of change for Jakarta, because we need to solve the problem of Jakarta, and MMRT being in the heart of Jakarta is actually play the position to be the agent of change for Jakarta. So that's why we introduced in 2022 the concept of transforming business beyond normal. What is transforming business beyond normal? There are three components of this. Number one is beyond ridership. So it's not enough that MRT is selling the ticket service, but we have to expand the network. Now we are working on 10 routes, for example, from one route to second networks. We are developing the third networks, and now in the process, because the ambition is by 2045, 100 years of Indonesian independence, we can have 245 kilometers of MRT across Jakarta. The second one is on beyond physical mobility. Now this is the introducing the digital mobility. So coming from turning MRT from the physical platform to be urban platformer, to be a digital ecosystems environment. Then the third one is beyond transport network, from infrastructure expansion to city regenerator. It's not just talking about building transport infrastructure, but how this transport infrastructure and transport service can change the cities, addressing the issues, for example, the macet, the traffic congestion, but also the pollutions, the social issues, the economic fabrics of the city. So change the landscape of the city is becoming very important for the transformation. In doing this transformation, we have three axes of transformation. Number one, for sure, is like network provider. The second one is on urban platformer. And the third one is on the city regenerator. But can you move one slide before the sustainability as the foundation of transformation? This is actually the core of how we do the transformation. And this is what I see some alignment with how Tsinghua University introduced before. Let's see, for example, we put our interest on human resources and culture. This is our asset. Intellectual assets, financial assets, strategic positioning on, of course, infrastructure. This is the input. On the strategic areas, we see network, for sure, network expansion, but also we see the asset monetizations, city development, transport integration. And those are to achieve three capability areas. One is competitiveness, the second one is sustainability, then the third one is on self-reliance. We see this is three axes here: a network provider, urban platformer, and city regenerator. And at the end, what we are aiming is actually MRT to be the game changer of the city. So let me move one by one to see how the network provider we engage the digital construction, for example, by introducing the building information management systems. So this is another step in our process of building MRT is by digitalization of the process. The second one is, for example, we are now doing the integration of public transport system. So if you see in Jakarta, for example, at the moment is actually there is an integration between MRT, Transjakarta, LRT, and high-speed train even. For example, this is now in one ecosystem. It's not perfect, but I think the government and the transport operator is coming together to develop this. The second one is actually on the building of financial sustainability. Now, if you see the financial sustainability by developing the non-fare box business, the non-fare box business is actually, if you see, it's revenue that comes not from ticketing services. So we are introducing some kind of business like indoor and outdoor advertising, the telco systems, the payment gateway partnerships, even the co-working space that we introduced. And then the second one is on the urban platformer. We are promoting digital mobility. This is now becoming some digital mobility ecosystems. We are using the QR code application on MRT, account-based ticketing for the integration is being introduced. So in general, you can see there is an MRTJ accelerator program by involving all the startup ecosystems by building urban platformer. The next one is on digital transformations. If you can jump into how the digital transformation is being built, which is actually it's not about just technology, but digital transformation is changes in work culture related to digital technology in running the corporation and providing services to service users. So this is how we see digital transformation in MRT Jakarta by integrating the component of tools, processes, and people. And the last point that I would like to make in this process of building the MRT Jakarta is how that process of building MRT inspiring the process of regenerating the city. So we are not just building the MRT, but we are regenerating the city. So for example, you can see along the line of MRT Jakarta, there are 13 stations, but along the 13 station now is building a new community. We call it transit-oriented development. It's changing now. The people is using with 130,000 people using MRT every day. Now the area around the stations becoming vibrant, and it's being managed with modern aspects. This is what we call it a friendly transit-oriented development. So you can see, for examples, in the next slide, how a friendly transit-oriented development we develop with a bicycle community, with sensitive to people with disability, with integration with, for example, with other transport mode, with activities around this like a ruang baca, like any vibrant activities. This cannot be done in a night. It's a long process, but I think the thing that being put by MRT Jakarta is a good sheet that enable the city to move forward into a more modern city. Because I always said to people that if you want to see a modern city, it should be considered by having a good public transport system, not by private cars, but good city or modern city is indicated by a good public transport. Now, a bit about moving forward after completing my job as the CEO of MRT Jakarta. I'm now chairing what's called intelligent transport system, which is actually broader because this is addressing the whole ecosystems. As the president of intelligent transport system, is it part of the consortium of 12 members in Asia Pacific. Indonesia is one of the branch of intelligent transport system. Last year's during the Intelligent Transport System Forum in Jakarta, we introduced or we launched a new initiative. We call it the Jakarta Initiative for Sustainable and Intelligent Urban Mobility. What is GI for SIUM? It's a pentahelic initiative launched at the ITS Asia Pacific Forum to engage various stakeholders. It's pentahelix community. So people from the business, government, university, civil society, and media, just to discuss and to promote intelligent and sustainable urban mobility ecosystem. There are several sectors that, including the electric vehicle, promoting the integration of public transport services, smart and traffic management, electronic and digital payment. These are the ambition that we promote through this, and this movement is now ongoing. So what we do here is actually we bring partners together, and I think it's good to introduce this initiative. Last year, during the Indonesian Sustainable Forum, we are actually launching, advancing the EV ecosystem, electric vehicle ecosystem. And I know this is something that it would be very good if we can also work with some other government, not just in Jakarta, but also, for example, in Bali, which is introducing the EV ecosystem. We invite our partners. This is part of the movement of bringing or developing the EV ecosystem in Indonesia. Number one is actually to replace the ecosystem of fuel, yeah, with the EV ecosystem. But number two, to address the pollution as well, yeah, because by the time we can use the EV ecosystem, it actually can reduce the pollution in Jakarta. So what we are trying to do here is actually working together with Kadin, for example, with all providers of EV ecosystem, with civil society community on promoting this. From this, just in February, we bring more stakeholders in the ground, and this is in my involvement as CEO of Indonesian Business Councils. We hosted Indonesian-based Economic Summit, Indonesia Economic Summit 2025 in Jakarta in February, and we ran a roundtable on EV ecosystem, investing in city and mobility, talking about building a good policy, infrastructure, and market solution. Indonesia Economic Summit is flagship initiative of Indonesian Business Council, which is to be done every year in February. And this is something, an area of collaboration that I can offer to all of you to participate. It was very successful, attended by 48 countries this February, and international participants. And this is something that we can collaborate. We sign MOU with, for example, with a Global Institute for a Sustainable Planet, and now we are trying to working with some government. We are coordinating Minister of Infrastructure, for example. So you can see a deputy there. Then we work with some government, including the government of Jakarta and the government of Bali. And also in my past involvement with Ibu Kota Nusantara, IKN. So ITS will focus on three city ecosystem. Number one is Jakarta, Greater Jakarta. Number two is Bali, and number three is new capital city of Nusantara. So the next slide. This is how we move. The movement is now growing, yeah, by involvement of the community. We are working. This is one of the examples of bringing community partners, yeah, like railway funds, Koalisi Pejalan Kaki, people with like Bismania, Bike to Work community, Forum Diskusi Transport Jakarta. Those are the community that we bring into promoting the Jakarta Initiative for Sustainable and Intelligent Urban Mobility. We also talk with some champions, yeah, like Bicara Udara, Jakarta Property Institute, Clean Air Asia, WRI, World Resource Institute Indonesia, ITDP, International Transport and Development Policy. So those are the partners that involved in this. We communicate, or we jointly organize with the governor of Jakarta, what we call it Jakarta Menyala. Jakarta Menyala stand for Jakarta for Mobilitas Cerdas, Nyaman, dan Berkelanjutan. This is initiative that we are now currently working on, trying to bring movement. Yeah, so this is very much pentahelix movement. So anybody can join hand on building or moving any programs, which is try to develop on two main initiatives: reducing the macet of Jakarta and reducing the pollution of Jakarta. So my last slide here is actually about holistic approach and short-term approach. This is the main concept, yeah. I think, sorry, before that, the main concept and strategies is building transit-oriented development. So integrating land use and public transportation to reduce dependence on private vehicles and repurposing underutilized spaces. This is what the transit-oriented development. We do the public transport integration. We do transport demand management. So implementation of policy that restrict the use of private transportation, such as electronic road pricing, high parking fees, and low emission zones. And the last but not least is actually development of electric vehicle ecosystem. In a nutshell, there are two big approach and this is, I think, I will close my presentations and open for discussion. In any approach on addressing complexity of the urban ecosystem like this, number one, you have to see the problem as a whole. I call it this holistic approach. To see the problem as a whole, Jakarta is a very complex ecosystem. The problem is there long time before, and it needs a holistic approach by all stakeholders to address this. So it's not enough by putting a good transport system, but you have to address the whole aspect of development, the waste system, the way people transport, the cultures, the social economic fabrics of the community. This needs to be done, what I call it, a pentahelix collaboration. This is a holistic approach. But in doing a holistic approach, you need to address the project or the program tactical as well. This is a more short term, to try to see what are actually the quick wins that can be achieved in the very short term in order to gain the credibility of your holistic approach. And this is how the movement that I'm now engaging with the ITS Indonesia is trying to combine the holistic approach and tactical approach. We are bringing all the people on the ground, the community, the private sectors, supporting the government with a long-term perspective addressing the problem of Jakarta. But in doing so, we do some kind of short-term approach, campaign approach, the tactical approach, in trying to promote the new cultures of the people of Jakarta. I think with this, I would like to end my presentations. Thank you very much. I return to the mic. If any question.
Great. Thank you so much, Pak Willem. Let's give a big virtual round of applause. It was a very inspiring talk. I enjoyed it very much. So thank you for giving your time to speak at this webinar tonight. I thought it was very fascinating, and I thought it represented very well, what we're trying to achieve with HDX. When I was talking about the grand challenges that are almost too much to take on, the transportation and mobility and traffic in a city like Jakarta is really one of the grand challenges. Some people consider it a wicked problem it's just too complex to even deal with, but you're really making the effort and making the change, and it's very impressive. I think when we talk about infrastructure, one thing that I found interesting is we talk about infrastructure, and usually what comes to mind is concrete and steel and materials. And you talked almost exclusively about people, and I found that to be very inspiring. So in Happy Digital X, there's sort of the three sides. There's the digital transformation as one side, the solving of complex problems, and then the leadership and change management that it takes to get these things done. And so I think highlighting the people side of things is very important. And I would be curious about the leadership, about some, maybe you have some example of digital transformation or a change that you were trying to get done, that how leadership played such a role in making that change.
Yeah, this is very interesting question. So people actually at the heart of every transformation. This is my experience, not just in MRT, but from my previous career in many aspects. MRT is actually the showcase of the importance of people and leadership, and for sure, leadership actually emerges from the people, how you develop the ecosystem of the people, and the leadership is actually needs to give an example, so you can actually develop the strong team and moving in the same direction. In terms of your question on digital transformations, during even my MRT time, I failed once in doing this digital transformation, because at the first transformation when I joined first in 2016, we engaged a company, for example, to help us doing a transformation. it failed. What made it fail? Because we are very much focusing on building the technology of the digital program that were developed. The digital ecosystem was very much focused on technology. Then I learned that by the time our consultant gone, then the transformation is not happen. And that's why I came with this the diagram of, if you want to do the digital transformations, 3 elements. For sure, technology is important, but understanding the process, because the process, it cannot happen in the night. And the core of this is people. The mindset of the people is actually very important in digital transformation. And this is actually happening in the online transformation. That's why at the core of, I always say to the team is actually, we are building infrastructures, but our main asset is not infrastructure. Our main asset is people. Because with the good people, you can do everything. You just not to develop a good infrastructures, but actually you can transform the city. And this is actually what we are actually conducting with MRT Jakarta. So you're right. It's the core of any transformation that we do is actually people. Instill the leadership in the people, and then with the teamwork, we can actually move the transformation into the right direction.
Great. Yeah, thank you for your response. I also thought it was incredible, hearing the story about launching such a huge project in 2019, and then a pandemic happens, which nobody could predict.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you very quick to pivot and address that, and even though it was I'm sure a very, very difficult situation, the policies that you enacted and the way you put people first, I think was very inspiring. So that was great to hear. I have one other question, and then I'll get into the questions in the chat. It's maybe a little bit more technical, right? So in transportation, it's a choice of convenience, right? So when the roads are all congested and you build the MRT, people want to take the MRT because they don't want to sit in traffic. But if enough people take the MRT, then the roads will not be congested anymore. How do you keep people from going back to the road in the personal vehicle and just having the latent demand, I believe it's called?
Yeah. It will be a long time to go, I think, until we have a road of Jakarta free from traffic for sure. We will need 400 kilometers of metro systems, and then to set the equilibrium between public transport and private transport. But I always introduce public transport as a lifestyle, because when you ride public transport, it's actually bring you a sense of community. That's why transport as a lifestyle is very important. And this is happening in, for example, you go to Singapore, you go to the big cities like London, or even in, for example, in Japan. It's using public transport. It's becoming lifestyle. And this is actually the value that we are now introducing for Jakarta. When you see people riding public transport, for example, metro in Jakarta, it's really something that it's a lifestyle for them. It's something. It's part of their enjoyment. Yeah, they like using public transport. They interact with their friend. They put in Instagram. They put this something like that. It's a lot of Instagrammable spot that people can take. It's a cafe. It's interaction, integrating with the bicycles. Even now, walking become a lifestyle, because the pedestrian in Jakarta is becoming, especially in Sudirman and Tamrin, is becoming very nice. So people walking in the afternoon. Now, for example, in Senayan area, in that, they're doing some kind of activities. So to answer the questions, if you want to make it make that people continue to use public transport, even the situation of road is already not much anymore, Then make is like a culture. Using public transport should be like a transport, and this is actually to build the economy of the city. I said to my friend, because I have been also supporting this process in Bali. It is very difficult to build this public transport in Bali, because the mindset is building public transport. You have to make it. This is building the new lifestyle of people, and making the connection. For example, for the airport, it's part of the journey of, instead of people enjoying the traffic jam coming out from this, but connecting with the some tourist destinations. Yeah, it's this kind of experience that needs to be. So public transport, the metro, for example, we've developed, it's becoming a lifestyle of tourism, for example, in Bali. And this is, you can attract a lot of interest, a lot of business interest in bringing this. And this is something that now the movement, for example, how using public transport in Jakarta make the sky of Jakarta blue, for example. This is another challenge, because people don't want to raise their children in Jakarta with a very polluted environment. But if you can say to mother, you say to parents, that's okay, this is one way of addressing the very complex problem of Jakarta, then that becoming a general issue. That's a common enemy to be addressed. So it's about mindset. And again, I see this is if you want to do this transformation, it's you introducing this kind of infrastructure as an entry point for transformation is very good.
Great. Yeah, I think you highlighted very well the concept of systems thinking, where the transportation, we always think of transportation as a system with nodes and lines, but going beyond just the transportation system, and to think about the culture and the behavior and the economic development and the walkability and the air pollution, and it's a much bigger system. So I think, highlighting that is very important. I'm going to get into some of the questions from the chat before we run out of time. So one is just building off what you were just talking about with Bali and some of your next steps. So this is from Maria. I will just paraphrase, but it's about how these transportation systems require significant investment, and maybe Jakarta has the capacity to support these initiatives, but how can we do this in smaller or developing cities with limited financial resources? How can they build the effective smart systems beyond the usual public-private partnerships? Is this truly an effective and scalable approach for them?
Yeah, very good question. Jakarta has I said, sufficient fiscal capacity to support. Even when we build a metro system in Jakarta, is actually the support, the loan coming from Japan government. And Jakarta has 50%. Jakarta city has 50% share in covering the capex, the cost of investment of the metro. And not every city has the same, or even only Jakarta has this kind of fiscal capability like that. The medium city doesn't have this. But I should say, the Jakarta might be the case for MRT Jakarta, MRT. The other city might need a smaller, for example, public transport. Smaller, like you can use light rate rapid transit. For example, Bali doesn't need MRT. What Bali needs is actually the lighter one, the LRT, which is actually the cost of investment is 1/3 from building MRT. Even now, the tram system, you can see tram systems that this is it can be 1/10 of the price of this, and this is really can involve the private sector. If we develop the good narratives for actually this is building a new lifestyle for a community, addressing the complexity or like traffic jam, pollution, and using this as an intervention. Then with good narratives, we can invite private sectors in investing in the public transport, especially now I call it the transit-oriented development, integrating it with the land, because once the transport system come to the city or come to the complex compound of this area, then the value of land increase. With the value of land increase, you can actually offer this to the private sectors to build. And this is something you can see in Hong Kong, for example. They connect Disneyland with metro, and all by private sector. The role of government is one, providing the regulations, for example, the road regulations. Government should for the acquiring the land, so the land becoming the responsible of the government. The government also, for example, for security, safety, and everything, in terms of government coordinations, while that will allow, if they can also offer some land, for example, to be the depot, they can also this. And for the private sector, and this is many cases, with the land value captures in London, in Hong Kong, you see this kind of public transport is being built by private sector. So I'm very sure if the city want to change by prioritizing developing of modern public transport, there will be always private sectors to engage this. The cheapest one, I think the less in terms of investment heavy is actually even by bus, by EV bus ecosystem. This is already giving value. Or I said before, the tram, the tram where you can use the middle of the road. Tram this is something that it's already create this. But the government needs to provide leadership on trying to see. It's not easy. The government needs to provide leadership. I'm sure with the movement that we are developing, we can actually bring a lot of network from different cities. For example, we are having ITS, for example, the organization that I lead, have a very strong collaboration with Singapore, with Japan, with Korea, with China, with Hong Kong, and actually we can use the exchange on how we can actually develop a good public transport system in your city if you are coming from the city out of Jakarta.
Great, thank you. I think there's been a few questions about AI. So maybe you could give your thoughts about how is AI going to change the way we use transportation and transportation systems and sustainable development in the next 10 years or so?
Oh, very good. The very simple one is it's make the life simple by using this. This ecosystems that's providing all information about Jakarta traffic systems. I think with all facility that we use in Jakarta, if this is can be expanded, this will make our life simple. The second one is actually, for examples like the traffic management systems. We also work with the government of Bali. I'm going to develop this on how to traffic demand management. We do it for Jakarta, and this is the role of robotic ecosystem, the AI, the technology ecosystem for traffic demand management. The third one is actually in the lifestyle, and this is, I think MRT has been using it for addressing the lifestyle of the people, the customer, and the customer satisfaction. So people is actually more the facility becoming very much customer friendly with the use of AI. So for example, it's very easy to get, if you want to travel to one stations, what can I get this, what can I get this? It's very simple using the application now with MRT Jakarta. So and this is something, this kind of lifestyle you can only enjoy when you use public transport, because all this facility is now available in when you ride MRT Jakarta. So I'm really hoping this kind of technology, the AI technology can complement, if we can bring a good transport system in your city.
Great, thank you. We have a question from Dri asking, does MRT Jakarta utilize renewable energy in its operations?
Not Yeah, not now, but I advocate for because when we built is in 2012, is the design is actually using coal, and because our electricity rely on PLN, yeah, and PLN using a coal system. But my advice, yeah, because I'm no longer with for the third line, you have to jump to hydrogen system, yeah, no longer with electricity, because hydrogen is actually the next generations. Yeah, I think you jump, because when you have the third line, fourth line, we are already not later on the 2035, 2040. At that time, I think using hydrogen as the source of power, as a source of mobility, will be this. But this is under discussions. We are working with some technology provider on seeing how whether the EV or the hydrogen. But I really advocate to use the hydrogen power to run the whole ecosystem of public transport, of metro in Jakarta. And this is really can turn down, yeah, because there are two sources of pollution in Jakarta. Number one is the power plant. We have so many supply of power plant, whole power plant around Jakarta. And number two is transportation. If you can replace this kind of source of transportation, electricity, with hydrogen, then this will completely reduce the pollution in Jakarta. So this is also my advice for the third and fourth line of MRT Jakarta.
Great. There's a similar question about how do we address the current challenges that we're facing with the government budget cuts, the slow progress in renewable energy, decline in protection for SMEs. How is this affecting smart cities, and how do you see things going forward for Indonesia?
The issue is, for me, it's not about money. It's about leadership of the city, whether they really wants to promote environmentally friendly city, which supported by clean transport city or not. Yeah. So this is number one, needs to be in mind. So I would actually advise Tsinghua, Southeast Asia, if you can get. I saw the number of champions, but if the program can also invite some of the leaders of the city, like a mayor or the governor, who this, and even in Bali, because I know this is it's very important to get this done, to involve. So giving the leadership that have perspective on building a new city, I think that is very important. Once you get that kind of leadership, then you can find partners around the world. Because Indonesia is very attractive for with the demand. Yeah, it's like city in Japan. You can have a city with 100,000 population, but you have a good metro. In Indonesia, easily you get that 100,000 is some small cities. Small cities is like 300, 400,000 easily. So it's something that the economy will work if we want to put. The second one, with the good leadership of the city, they can bring a lot of economic opportunity, because that will create demand for transport. And Indonesia is very rich, for examples, building not the ecosystem, like ecosystem of tourism. And tourism will attract people to come. Tourism will attract people from overseas to come, and this is actually then can start to generate demand for building a good transport ecosystem. And the third one, I think, when you combine your limited budget with public-private partnerships, now with the government actually trying to invest, yeah, they do the efficiency, but they create an agency like Danantara, who are actually what Pak Prabowo wants to have. It is actually an entity which can create which can bring value creation. So any infrastructure is not just you invest, but what actually the value added that you can bring from that. So if you build the infrastructure, for example, what is the value added from this infrastructure to the economy of the community? And I think this is something that the mindset change that needs to be in the leadership capability of any leaders to start to think how I can create how can I create my city attractive for investors to come, and with my small amount of money and with my authority, I can create routes, yeah, and then roads at least connecting, for example, airport to the main city or any destinations, and then you can start to create a business model, and then you can provide the facility, you can provide license, you can provide land for this, and that will create attractiveness for investment to come. I think that's the main difficulties of building in Indonesia. But if you can deregulate this aspect and the government really can have leaderships to build this, and then for me, money is not an issue.
Great. Thank you, Pak Willem. That's, I think, all the time we have for the questions. So thank you. Yeah, I think we could keep going. I apologize to anyone who I didn't get the chance to ask your question. There was one question I want to come back to at the very beginning about waste management, and is China and Tsinghua doing anything about waste management in Indonesia? And what I will say is that for Happy Digital X, for sure, we will have a challenge project on waste management. It's something that everybody is talking about in Bali, in Jakarta, and everywhere. It's a major challenge. But for Tsinghua Southeast Asia, we're about capacity building. So rather than having the Chinese government or the Indonesian government or Tsinghua solve the problem, we're about enabling people with the tools to solve the problem. So you can come and join HDX for 12 weeks and learn how to solve a problem like we're facing with transportation or waste management, and take those skills and solve any kind of complex problem. So I think that's where the thinking should be. And I think a lot of the questions tonight were addressed about that. What can we do rather than what should they be doing or what should the government be doing? But what can we be doing? And I think it's important that we're all, one of the reasons we look at cities in Happy Digital X is because we're all stakeholders in the city. Whether we work for the city or we work in the city or we live in the city or we buy things from the city, we're all stakeholders. So we all have a say in, what we want the future of our cities to be. So thank you again. I look forward to seeing the development of the MRT in Jakarta and smart transportation throughout Indonesia in the years to come. And thank you again very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. I'll ask again for the slides to be shared. Great. So I hope you enjoyed the webinar tonight. I really did. If you're interested in more events like this, we have a lot of upcoming interesting programs and events. So continuing on the topic of HDX and smart cities and AI, we'll have a TC talk. This will be an offline event at UID Learning Center in Jakarta. The title is AI's Influence on the Future, Innovation, Disruption, and the Unknown. This will be on Saturday, April 26th. So you're all welcome to join. It's a free event. You can register from the QR code on the screen or at our website. We have a great lineup of speakers, including Sophia Moore, the Associate Principal at Arup Indonesia, Risman Adnan, the Corporate Digital Technology Director at Kalbe Pharma, and Setio Budiantoro, the SDGs manager of the Economic Development Pillar at Bappenas, Republic Indonesia. So it'll be a really great event. And if you're in Jakarta, please join us. We'd love to have you there. Next slide, please. In September, we will also hold the Conference on Indigenous Wisdom in the Contemporary World, together with Fakultas Ilmu Budaya, Udayana University. This year, the conference will highlight the concept of Trihita Karana and its relevance and contribution towards sustainable development. Scientific abstract submissions are open now until July 1st, and we invite you to contribute as a presenter or to just attend the event, which will be held on site at UID Bali campus. Next slide, please. So again, for those of you who are interested in joining the Happy Digital X program and still have some questions, we're open for a consultation every Monday through Friday online or on site at UID Bali campus. You can contact us via email at program@tse.asia or WhatsApp at 0821-3700-0272. Contact with any question. I know there was a question in the chat about what more can you get out of HDX? Can you become an alumni? We have a lot of alumni events for our fellows from our Tsinghua Southeast Asia programs. And we also have mixers and alumni connecting events with Tsinghua alumni as well. So you'll be part of the Tsinghua ecosystem in Southeast Asia and globally by joining this program. So there's a lot of benefits to joining HDX. Next slide, please. Please take a minute and give us feedback on the webinar so that we can design and develop even better events in the future. Any kind of honest feedback is great. So take a minute. After this, we will also share about the certificate. So hang around if you need to get the certificate for attending the event. That will be on the next slide. But for now, please take a minute and give your feedback. And we will give 2 participants will get free merchandise from TSEA, which we will send to your address. So please make sure that all your data and information is correct. I'll give just a minute or two to fill the feedback form. All right. Someone let me know when we have a good number on the feedback. All right. If you haven't gotten the link, you can screenshot the QR code. Next, to get your certificate, please fill in your personal data via the QR code provided. Make sure that the data you fill in is correct because the certificate will be sent automatically to your email. So I'll give a couple minutes to fill out the certificate if you would like the certificate for attending the webinar. All right. And once again, I would like to thank all of you for attending tonight's webinar. I look forward to welcoming you to join future TC events and programs. Reach out to us anytime. And we'll take a minute to close the session by taking a group photo together. I think there's a few screens So please open your cameras and I'll ask Amel to assist us in taking the photos page by page. Are you there, Amel?
Yes, Mike.
Okay. I think you have to, maybe I can, there we go. So whenever you're ready, we'll take the photos.
Okay, I will start to take from the first slide. 1, 2, 3. Now the second slide. 1, 2, 3.
Great. Thank you,
And
everyone.
the final slide.
Oh, there's a 3 slide. Sorry.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you, Amel. And thank you, everyone. And I hope you have a great evening.